Quantico, Virginia.
Event TV, where the action lives.
Event TV, now available on Channel 200.
Next, why some Middle Eastern studies programs are teaching anti-American sentiment on college campuses. There you go again. And the latest on WorldCom MCI's contract to wire up Iraq. We're going to be talking to fiscal conservative Grover Norquist, who says give him the deal. But first, these headlines.
I'm Alex Witt. It's 30 past the hour, and here are the latest headlines for you. An Ohio truck driver pled guilty today to supporting al-Qaeda. Attorney General John Ashcroft says Ayman Farris scouted sites for terrorist attacks in the U.S. He plotted to cut off the cables on the Brooklyn Bridge and to attack trains. Convicted rapist and Max Factor heir Andrew Luster is now in a California jail. He was captured by bounty hunters in Mexico yesterday. Luster fled the United States in January in the middle of his rape trial. He was later sentenced in absentia to 124 years in prison for drugging and raping at least 3 women. And Martha Stewart's trial date is now set, January 12, 2004. She's facing securities fraud and other charges related to a suspicious stock sale that netted her about $200,000. More news in half an hour. Now we send you straight back to Scarborough Country.
Gorbachev, tear down this wall. These are good days. History of freedom.
Hey, welcome back to Scarborough Country. I'm Joe Scarborough, live from the Windy City, Chicago. Now we're to a part of the show that we like to call...
I can't help it. There you go again.
And tonight we have another extreme example of university bias and your tax dollars at work. This afternoon on Capitol Hill, members of Congress called a hearing to sort out why your tax dollars are going to pay for what critics say are biased Middle East and African study programs at university programs across America. That's right. 86 million tax dollars support Title VI of the Higher Education Act, and it's intended for establishing, strengthening, and operating a diverse network of undergraduate foreign language and area or international study centers and programs. But here's the kicker. Critics claim the programs espouse biased, extremist views and need to be changed to ensure diversity. And members of Congress are listening. With us now is Stanley Kurtz, and he testified before Congress today, and he's been leading the charge to clean up the Title VI programs, and Hussein Ibish, who's communications director for the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me tonight.
Great to be with you.
And for sticking with me through that very long introduction. Stanley, let me go to you first. Summarize what you told our congressmen on Capitol Hill today about these programs.
Well, Joe, I told Congress it's been paying tens of millions of dollars to professors who are dead set against American foreign policy and who won't really let a fair debate take place in their departments about American foreign policy.
Stanley, instead of speaking in generalities, give me some specific examples.
Well, for example, the theory that dominates area studies programs is called post-colonial theory. And post-colonial theory actually says that if you're a professor and you lend your knowledge of foreign languages or foreign cultures to the United States government, that you are an evil imperialist. And on top of that, these area studies professors have been leveling a boycott for a decade now against something called the National Security Education Program, which is a good program that actually would put people with knowledge of, say, Arabic into our defense and intelligence agencies to decode the transmissions, say, from the September 11th hijackers that we weren't able to decode because we didn't have enough Arabic speakers. The same professors who are taking millions of dollars on grounds of national security are actually trying to destroy that program.
And getting in the way, being roadblocks to our national security. Hussein, I want you to, with me, take a look at some of the comments that have been made in some of these. Hold on. Let me read these first, and then you can respond. Here's some comments that Columbia University professor Edward Said, a recipient of federal tax dollars, has made in the recent past.
Well, actually,
hold on a second. Hold on. Let me read through this.
All right.
He called the United States a stupid bully, claiming the U.S. is reducing whole peoples, countries, and even continents to ruin by nothing short of Holocaust. He said American leaders make war criminals like Slobodan Milosevic look like a rank amateur in viciousness, and he claimed the U.S. Constitution was written by wealthy, white, slaveholding, Anglophilic men.
Well, look,
Hussein,
let's start from the beginning.
well, first of all, do you think American taxpayers have a reason to be offended for paying for that sort of research?
Of course they didn't. Well, they never did. I mean, that's the point. You know, Mr. Kurtz got demolished at that hearing in Congress today. He got completely destroyed because what he just has been saying and what he's been telling his audience is a complete fairy tale. That money goes through the Department of Education to area study programs and to individual students. It doesn't go to individual professors. Edward Said has never been the recipient of a grant of this kind. Individual or associations of scholars, some of whom have been critical in the past and currently of some of the government programs, don't receive that money. This money goes to fund broad programs, and it doesn't go to anyone who engaged in a boycott. And
but if his programs get the money, though, that money filters down to him, though, does it not?
Doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, but he doesn't get that much. First of all, I think those quotes are ridiculous. They're ripped out of context. All you have to do is read a good deal of Edward Said's work, and you'll see what a brilliant scholar he is, and also what a truly generous spirit he is. But I have to tell you something. He's professor of comparative literature at Columbia. No Title VI money ever goes to anything that he does.
Okay,
that's why this is all a fairy tale.
Hold on a second. So
it's a fiction. It's a fraud.
Well, okay. Let me go back to you, Stanley, because you just said that we just heard that you got demolished at a hearing on Capitol Hill today, and we also heard that Edward Said has just misunderstood that these quotes have been ripped out of context.
Absolutely.
Respond.
They haven't been ripped out of context. As I said, the basic thrust of Edward Said's work is to say that for a professor to even be in favor of American foreign policy, it makes him into an evil imperialist.
And what
happened, Joe, is that we had a course that was paid for by taxpayer dollars at the University of California, Santa Barbara, that was teaching K through 12 teachers the answer to the question, why do they hate us? And Edward Said's work was assigned, and the work of many other people like Arundhati Roy and Tariq Ali and Robert Fisk, all of whom have been characterized as anti-American with no balancing views.
Because they don't
no,
agree
not
with
just
you.
characterized by me,
yes,
characterized by liberal.
Okay,
and even
hold on. Come on, let's turn off the mics for a second. Turn off the mics for a second. Stanley, I want to go back specifically. We got to wrap up. But again, we've been accused of taking Edward Said's words out of context, and I hope our people can put these quotes back up very quickly on what Said said. And I'm going to ask you, yes or no, did he say these things? Hold on one second. They're coming up right now. There. Okay, the U.S. is a stupid bully. Did he say that, yes or no?
You're darn right he said it.
Did he say that we were reducing whole peoples, countries, and even continents to ruin by nothing short of a Holocaust? Did he say that, yes or no?
You bet.
Okay, let's keep going. And did he also compare us to the Serbs and Slobodan Milosevic?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right. And now let me go back to you, and we want to wrap up with you, Hussein.
Thanks. Well, let me put it very simply.
Defend Said, and you've just said that these quotes are being ripped out of context, and he's a wonderful man.
Let me address, well, he's been a critic of U.S. foreign policy, as many people have. That's his academic freedom. The problem with what Mr. Kurtz is doing, and his friends like the ridiculous Daniel Pipes and Martin Kramer and others, what they're trying to do is intimidate people. This is an attack on academic freedom. It's not about protecting where taxpayers' dollars go, because they don't go to Edward Said. This is a generalized attack that says if you don't agree with me and you don't support the government's policies, then basically you should be silenced. You should be, the entire structure of American academia should change. If you read his article on...
I got to cut you off there. I'm very sorry. We're out of time, Hussein. I appreciate you being on.
Sure thing.
Stanley, I appreciate you being on the show tonight. And straight ahead on Scarborough Country, my guest Grover Norquist begs the government not to suspend MCI. He'll have to convince me why after this very short break.
See the number on the matchbook is